Alright, so welcome to my playthrough of the original Doom from 1993. I've been playing this game since about 1994, so about 26 years now. These are the patch to work on newer systems versions that were released alongside the HD remake of Doom 3 in 2012, which is also known as the Doom 3 BFG edition. Doom originally was released in 3 episodes, with the first episode, Knee Deep in the Dead, being released for free, and The Shores of Hell and Inferno being released through mail order catalog. So Doom 1 was originally not released in stores in its entirety. The 4th episode, Thy Flesh Consumed, was released in 1995 in the Ultimate Doom bundle, which included the first original game in its entirety for sale for the first time, and also Doom 2 Hell on Earth. We will not be playing Thy Flesh Consumed in this series, as it was not part of the original Doom canon. So we're going to start with Knee Deep in the Dead, which was also the name of the original book. And we're going to do Hurt Me Plenty, which is typically considered the default setting. Alright, so this takes me back. I'm going to take a second to get used to the controls here because I am not used to playing with a mouse. New systems, mouse is the default. When first-person shooters were originally released, you used the arrow keys and no mouse as opposed to the WASD in the mouse. So, alright, so these blue things right here, health pickups, they only increase you by 1%, but it is the only way to get above 100% on health. And then these helmets right here increase your armor by 1%, but again, it's a small increase, but it's the only way to get above 100%. You can get up to 200% both health and armor. And then first stop right here is first secret of the game. You hit that button, this wall lowers, you run across, you can grab the 200% armor right off the bat. So you see, like, even though I'm only at 102% health, if I try to pick up a regular med pack, it won't do anything. So you come up here, shotgun shells. So the first enemy you encounter in any Doom game is always possessed human soldiers. We'll take them out right here. We actually don't need to go back this way. The exit was actually in the door right behind us, but I'm going for more kills than part-time. So there's 2 soldiers back here that we would miss if we went straight to the exit. Pick up all the... I guess I don't need the armor because I got the 200% from back there. Oh well. Force of habit. Alright, so you come back here. There is the first demon you encounter in Doom. Up in the left-hand corner is an imp. He will throw fireballs at you, but we killed him. It kind of feels like this difficulty level might be a bit too easy. Try and take out this barrel to kill him. Didn't get him all the way. The pistol is a pretty useless weapon. If I was on a higher difficulty like Ultra Violence, I would have had the shotgun by now. Like I said, Hurt Me Plenty is the default difficulty setting, so that's what we're playing on. Alright, there you go, 100% kills. The part times have never made sense to me whatsoever. They're more for like speedrunning. If you were to get the part time on any level, it's basically you're just running straight past literally everything in the game. Which you can do. In Doom 2 and Doom 3, you can totally beat the game just running past every single enemy so long as you get to that exit. This is mostly true in the first 2. I guess it's not that true in Doom 3, but it is to a degree. The new series, the 2016 Doom and Doom Eternal, are the opposite. You're literally stuck in your area until you kill every single demon, which, I mean, it's kind of frustrating, kind of dumb. But that's the direction they went with the game. Alright, so there's the red key. Health. Let's see. Forgot to mention in the previous game, we're on Deimos. I'm sorry. We're on Phobos. One of the two Martian moons. As you can tell by that beautiful clear sky, we're near Mars. Yeah, and the gray mountains with the green plants growing on it. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, where's the red door? Right here. Alright. Those exploding bodies were considered quite controversial at the time. Even when Doom 2 came out a year later, they were still considered highly controversial. This was one of the first big violent games. Excuse me, I'm pretty sick. So, certain moments in video games, for whatever reason, stick with me. There are a few in there's a few in the original Doom. Of course, I mean, I've been playing this longer than I've played most games, but it's like I have vivid memories of specific areas for some reason. This maze area with the flickering lights is one of them that I never forget. Like every time I come through this level, it's just complete nostalgia. Yeah, seeing all honesty, a harder difficulty level might have been easier because I wouldn't be stuck with this worthless pistol. Let's see, grab this, even though I don't have the shotgun yet. Alright, so one thing that has remained fairly consistent throughout the games is the fact that the auto map is pretty worthless, but I need it for right now because I hate this stupid maze. And see, there you go, I'm full up on shotgun shells and I don't even have the freaking shotgun yet. So, back when this game was made, there wasn't really much else like it. There was a prior game that's typically considered the first-person shooter, which was Wolfenstein 3D. It was made by the same company. I want to say the year before this. It was either 1992 or 1991. I can't remember. But anyways, it wasn't as popular, and it didn't really revolutionize gaming the way that Doom did. In fact, after this game came out, before they came up with the term first-person shooter, it was typically referred to as Doom clones, is what they called it. A game that was 3D like this, where you had a gun and you walked around shooting things. They called them Doom clones. Yeah, so Doom was kind of the gold standard at the time. The series as a whole, I mean, Doom 2 took it a step further and was even more popular. That came out a year later. That was the first Doom that you could actually go into the store and purchase. Looks like I really didn't need anything in that maze, so I don't know why I went through there. Anyways, so it was kind of the gold standard in gaming. There were a lot of popular they were considered Doom knockoffs, like Quake was the spiritual successor that came out in 1985. That was by the same company, so I wouldn't really call it a knockoff. But like, just a sec. And then in 1996, you had Duke Nukem 3D, which is probably the most successful Doom ripoff game. Crap. I don't want to be here yet. I need to get that chainsaw that we saw in the other room. Hold on. Anyways, that was 1996. That was pretty popular. I am so lost. It's been a minute. Where did he come from? But anyways, Doom basically remained the gold standard on PC. Until about 1998 when Half-Life came out, the original Half-Life. Let's see what else. Yeah, I don't know how to get to that chainsaw room yet. Hold on. And this time, shooters weren't really big on console, just because consoles couldn't really do it at the time. The first big console shooter game, obviously, was GoldenEye 64. That's kind of what started FPS games big on console. Probably due to the fact that for the first time, the N64 had a thumbstick as opposed to a regular directional pad. But there were earlier attempts, like seems like everyone had to throw in an attempt at a Doom clone back then. The Toy Story game for Sega Genesis had a scene where you're in the claw machine trying to rescue the alien dolls from the claw machine, and it was basically just like Doom, except you didn't shoot, but you went through the maze just like this. That was pretty funny. I used to love that game. Okay, so found the chainsaw, finally. It was back in the maze. Alright, so you lower that, you get the chainsaw. Now before the chainsaw, if you were out of bullets, the only thing that you had were spiked knuckles, which kind of suck. So now, when you're out of bullets, you got the chainsaw. So we're gonna go back the way we came. Back up here. We'll go back to that room that we were just in, and we're going to use the imps killed everything here. Never mind. Hit that button. Opens those two doors. Downstairs to the end. We're gonna take everything out with our chainsaw, which in my opinion is a lot more effective than the stupid pistol. Come down here, that's the end of the level. Took longer than I cared to admit, just because I was stuck for like 10 minutes looking for that hidden door to get the chainsaw. Let's see. Alright, Toxin Refinery. On to level 3. And here we finally get the shotgun. Finally, on the 3rd level. It's much better. Alright, blue door. Armor. Oh, medkit. So one thing that's kind of interesting is that your character holds the gun right in the middle of the screen. Like he has an arm protruding from his chest or something. On Doom Eternal, there's actually a mode where there's an option in the settings where you can have the classic gun, and that's literally the difference is it puts it right in the center of the screen like this, like you've got an arm in your chest. Also notice, if you notice, he appears to be left-handed, which, whatever. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to note. I strafed right into the fireball instead of away from it. Rookie mistake. One downside to the shotgun is obviously it's not very ranged. Also, no headshots in these old games since you couldn't really aim. You could just point in the general direction. So going back to the violence in these games, along with actually Mortal Kombat, are the two main games that they invented the ESRB over, which is the Electronic Software Rating Board, which is what determines, it's kind of like film ratings, but for video games. Back at the time, the ratings were a bit different. Now they're kind of typical E for everyone, T for teen, M for mature, which is 17 or older, and then adults only AO, which means that it's literally 17 or older. It's kind of like the distinction between rated R and NC-17 in movies, whereas like most big box retailers just like won't carry adults only games. You have to go to literally porn stores to buy them. Kind of like how mainstream movie theaters won't air NC-17 movies. And with rated R and rated M, it's kind of more of a store guideline and not a law-abiding thing. Whereas they're not supposed to let you into R-rated movies if you're under 17, but there's no like penalty if they do. It's the same with mature games, but once you hit NC-17, it's actual law. Like there can be penalties for them allowing you into an NC-17 movie, and that's kind of how it is with the adults only. Let's see. There is the first appearance of the Pinky. The Pinky, like the Imp, has also been in every version of Doom, except for, if we're counting film, the Pinky was in the 2005 film. It was not in the 2019. One of the cool things about Doom is there's been 3 different series of Doom video games. All of them have their own canon, and for the most part, the demons have remained relatively the same. I mean, there's obviously like differences in just due to like graphic and hardware abilities, like as AI and software has gotten more in depth, like the demons have evolved and can do different things, but for the most part, fighting a demon, like let's say fighting a Pinky, well, okay, let me change that, like fighting an Imp is gonna be basically the same concept in every single iteration of the game, like from this first one up to the 2016 game. There's really not that much difference between them, and I'm planning on doing a series of videos just going over each individual demon and how it's evolved throughout the various series. Siri thinks I'm talking to it. Okay, now I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed. One of my problems with the new game series is the Pinkies were always kind of minor villains. As you see, they're the second demon you encounter in the original game. But for some reason, in the current series, starting with 2016, they just made them like overly powerful, in my opinion. Like the whole front of the Pinky is completely armored in the new games, and you can only attack it from the back, which means I can take out Hell Knights all day long, and then one Pinky, I just can't beat it, completely kills me after taking out a whole thing of Hell Knights, and I'm like, I should not have just died to a Pinky. Alright, so here's the exit. Pick everything up, hit the button. Alright, that's Toxin Refinery down. Looks like I missed a little bit of the main map, but that's fine. Alright, that's going to end part 1. I kind of messed up and recorded the entire Knee Deep in the Dead episode at once instead of breaking it up into smaller parts, so I had nothing recorded for an outro for any of these episodes. But part 2 will be up soon, and I hope you enjoyed this.